So Brenda, over to you for poll results, please.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. So our first poll question was, do you offer incentive programs? So I'll just give the results there, which are coming through. So as you can see, 81% of people do, and for the 19% of people who don't, hopefully you found this webinar useful. And one of the key takeaways, keep it simple, keep it fresh, and pay out quickly.
Yeah, no, that's great to see that, you know, that the vast majority are actually doing incentives. I think, you know, we ran a similar webinar probably 3 years ago. Hard to believe where the time goes, but yeah, that was a much different number. So, you know, the channel really is driven by incentivization. So it is important for the 19%.
Okay, so here was the next poll question in relation to the mix of incentive programs that people offer. So yeah, you can see just under 60% offer a mixture of rebate spiffs and performance objective ones. And spiff seems to be the lowest number there. Is that a surprise, or was that what you were expecting?
Well, I think maybe what people mean is a mixture. They probably run, the 57% would be kind of around what I would have expected, but I'm guessing that the audience meant that's a mixture of rebates, spiffs, and performance, Brenda, because rebates at 9% is definitely not correct, or it's too low. So I suspect people are in the majority there is the 57%.
Okay, great.
And those 14% are probably fighting with finance to get funds.
Okay, so our next one then was in relation to referral programs and if you offered them. So 35% said yes and 65% said no.
Yeah, and again, going back a couple of years, you know, the referral programs were very new. They're starting to pick up in a big way. So, you know, a third of people here are running them, or 35%. You know, I think the last time I'd done something like this, you know, it was probably 8 or 9% were running referral programs. People were really struggling with how to do them, how to offer them, what percentage to pay. And they're now a very big thing in the channel because of, you know, as I said, because of certain partners don't want to go on the SaaS journey.
Okay, thanks, Kenneth. The next poll then was in relation to how often do you adjust your incentive programs? So
yeah, monthly at 6%. Yeah, it's a little bit low, to be honest, because I do, you know, it depends, I suppose, how people interpreted the question. Because I see a lot of vendors are constantly, you know, say a spiff program, they might even change monthly, but you know, the quarterly at 23% is what I would have expected. And annually, you know, the never at 10%, you know, that's not good. Clearly, you know, as Sonny said, they do need to be freshened up. You can't keep doing the same thing year in, year out. Well, you can, but yeah, if you want to try and excite partners, you got to try and change up stuff.
It also depends probably on the type of incentive.
True enough. Yeah.
okay, thank you. The next one then was in relation to what percentage of your channel partners participate in programs. So should be coming, is it coming through there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, 25% said more than 75% of channel partners participate. So that's really good. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? You know, these are interesting numbers. Trying to think quickly on them, but you know, it's less than 25% participation. A quarter of the people are saying that, which is a big number. Even the top half say, you know, that's 50% of the respondents have less than 50% of their partners participating. And, you know, this comes down to what both Sonny and Margaret would have touched on, keeping it fresh, getting engagement. It is challenging. You know, the channel is a tough place. It's very competitive. You know, so again, I would kind of say simple, ease of doing business. You will move the needle. You know, we're certainly working with companies where we've got up to 80% participation rates on a fairly consistent basis across their incentives. You know, to see 25% of vendors, you know, getting more than 75% participation, that's really great, guys. You know, that is best in class. So I would say, you know, congrats on that. It's really hard to get it above 80. It really is. I don't know, Sunny or Margaret, any thoughts or comments?
Doesn't really surprise me that it's so low that, you know, only 35% have 50% or more of their partners participating. You know, there's a lot of vendors out there in the channel, and it's tough to get them engaged sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Yeah, so. And it's, you know, it is very, especially in the global vendors, it's a very different world, right? What works in one country doesn't work in another, or certainly works
Right.
in one region, won't work in another, and then you've got all kinds of legal changes, etc. So, okay, next one, Brenda, thank you.
Okay, and then the last one was, what's the most challenging aspect of managing incentives? So I think the winner there seems to be inability to measure a return on investment.
Yeah, so it is challenging, right? You know, unless you've got a platform approach, as I say, it is very hard to do it in an efficient way, right? Because there is a lot of moving parts in incentives. You know, Margaret and Sunny called out just some of them here today in a very short space of time. So think about, you know, a rebate, a spiff, MDF, whatever it is that you're incentivizing with. How do you measure ROI on those? It can be tough. But it almost comes down to one of the first things, I think, Margaret, it was you that said it, you set out your stall or your strategy, what is it you're trying to do? And if you clearly have in your mind what you're trying to do, well, then you should clearly have in your mind what it is you're trying to measure.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it, as the old saying goes. So,